Nice. Go. Wow.
And go.
Throw. Today we're going to be testing javelins on horseback. So in ancient warfare, there were lots of cavalries that used javelins. The question comes, why don't they just use bows instead? Well, first of all, bows require a culture of bows and horses combined together, which is a lot of skill involved. And if you're in a culture that doesn't use bows on horseback, yeah, that's probably why you didn't do it. Another reason actually is javelins have a lot more stopping power against cavalry. Assuming the cavalry is not armed at all in terms of the horse, you can see this horse is not armored at all. We're not going to throw at it, obviously, don't worry. But this head is much bigger, so it has a lot more stopping power if it hits a horse. So in cavalry versus cavalry engagements, javelins are pretty useful at defeating other horses. And if the other cavalry's horse is gone, he's not a cavalry unit anymore. So this is probably how I would use it, is hold a bunch of them here or have like a javelin quiver, and then I would throw them on the sides. Probably can't do a Parthian throw, but this is probably how I would use it. But I also can use these javelins like a melee weapon to stab. I think the best way of using this is against horses, so you're probably throwing at pretty close range. But you're still going to be far away that a melee cavalry unit cannot hit him. So if I have a spear right now, I cannot reach him, but he can still harass me. Pretend you're throwing at me. So he can still harass me, but I can't reach him because I'm a melee unit. Assuming both of our horses are the same speed, of course. And then he can keep skirmishing me and hit my horse instead. So that is one way of using it. But I wouldn't bother throwing at a far distance to guarantee each ammo counts. Are you ready to throw?
Yeah.
Nice. You almost hit it.
Yeah.
What do you think? Was it hard?
No, not hard at all. I just need more practice.
Yeah. You can easily counter by throwing your own spear or a ranged weapon if you have one. Unless you don't have a ranged weapon, you know, which is pretty rare for melee infantry. Nice. What do you think? You think you get more power on foot?
I don't know yet.
We'll see. Give it your all. Nice. Okay, let's check the penetration depth. Ooh, that's pretty deep. That's the white one. That's on horseback at a point blank range, pretty much.
Yep.
So now we're going to compare him throwing with a black javelin to see which one gets more penetration depth. Don't miss though. Ready?
Yep.
Go. So, which one got more penetration? Wow. Okay. So that's the white one, and I'm going to pull out the black one. So, compare who has a bigger spear.
You do.
So, as you can clearly see, the one thrown...
Oh, we're making it equal.
As you can clearly see, the one thrown on foot got more power than on horseback. But this is probably because Ben is not used to throwing a javelin on horseback.
No. Part of it is also steering. Horses need to have a good circle to get in balance. And if your enemy is in the wrong spot and you don't plan for your circle, you're kind of screwed. Because you saw what I did there. I kind of corrected for that, and I was like, argh! It felt right. I can see why people use them. It was just simple. It just felt really simple to me. It felt like throwing a rock or a spear. There's no stress, no strain. I just threw it. It's simple. It works.
Much easier than a crossbow on horseback?
Yeah, and you don't need to train the rider as much.
That's a melee weapon too. Not the best spear, but it's still a spear. And so I can see why there were so many mounted javelinmen, because you're still a melee unit, but you can throw javelins with some range as well. But I don't think this is good against melee infantry, especially with shields, because your horse is a huge target. So melee infantry can throw their spears at you while you are throwing at melee infantry with shields. So you'll probably get outmatched that way.
Today we're going to throw 4 different types of javelins. One is going to be at the standstill, one is going to be running forward, one is going to be at the canter, and one is going to be at the gallop if we are able to today.
Awesome. This is our line of start for launching. And you're going to throw as far as you can. You ready?
Yep.
Go. Nice. Oh, that's standing still. Now we're going to do running start.
Scream.
Ah! Ready? You went further.
Yeah.
Yay. Okay, now it's horse. Okay, we're going to do the canter on horseback. Ben's going to see if he can throw further. Go! Wow!
And go.
Throw! Ooh. That was the worst. So we're measuring the distances. First of all is the full gallop, which is the closest distance. That's probably because he's focusing on actually galloping and not throwing at all. And it's very hard to throw in a gallop.
It's hard.
What's the distance?
47 feet.
47 feet. Okay. Then we have
52 feet.
52 feet by standing still. He actually beat himself fully galloping, probably because he was focusing on galloping. Now,
61.
Ben got 61 feet with a cantering throw, which is further than a standstill and further than his gallop. And finally, last but not least, our furthest throw is him running start on foot. What's the distance?
75 feet.
75 feet is his furthest.
Running was much easier because I could use the upper body mechanics of the torso. I'm kind of limited by this really wide horse. I love you though. So the running, I could just do that a lot easier, I felt like. Also, controlling the horse was a little bit more difficult. She did the right thing by going off to the left in the field instead of trying to turn, because she would have slipped and fallen. It's a little wet out here. But all in all, I think it's easier to throw on the ground. I don't think that it would be, at least to train them, it would be much difficult, take a while.
For sure. So I think it doesn't come down to power. You're not going to get magically more power just on a horse. So I think the tactics of what we were speculating, I think it comes to cavalry engagements. Javelins might have an advantage, I think, against melee weapons, because the other guy can't reach you with a spear when you can throw at them in about 10 meters away. And so it would be hit and run tactics, and you can throw it at other horses. That would be the logical thing. What do you think?
I agree. Completely.
Yeah. Against cavalry. And meanwhile, a foot skirmisher cannot do that because he doesn't have a horse, so he's probably going to get run down by cavalry instead. Thanks a lot, Ben Roth, for collaborating with me. You can check out his channel with the description on this video below to check out him doing horseback archery and other equestrian events, which is really cool.
Yeah, you find a lot of weird stuff on there too. Please don't judge, but you can. It's fine. I open the comments for all.
Well, thanks a lot for watching this video. I hope you learned something. Stay tuned.
Ride off into the sunset.